All right. Hello, friends and family. Happy Friday. It's June 25th. Welcome to Stand Up. I just have one announcement and we'll go to the teams. So we've got a new team member starting on Monday. Her name is Anna, and she's a Suffolk student who will be joining us. So everybody be excited to welcome Anna. And we're actually did a little shifting of the teams. Catherine is not here at the moment, but we're going to move Catherine off of the late docketing statement with Regis, and Anna and Catherine are going to start a new forum together. And Regis has gracefully offered to continue the late docketing statement. So he'll give us an update on how they're wrapping that up. But other than that, that's it for me. Hope everyone has a great weekend. And I'll roll right into Regis. Why don't you tell us what's going on?
Yep. So Catherine is putting her finishing touches on some of the issues that we have for the late docketing statement. Um, we are, and I've been saying this for like 2 weeks, but like we are in the final stages, just trying to clean some stuff up. And I think I would say we have one big issue, one big hurdle that we have to overcome. And it's not even that big because there are plenty of previous models of it. It's just attaching the indigency form, and then just some language stuff that we probably have to work around a little bit, but it is looking good.
Awesome. Yeah, it can kind of be a game of like whack-a-mole. You get one thing and then you find something else. So that feeling that you're having is okay. It means you're working through and forward. So awesome. How about Ryan? You're repping your team today.
I am, yeah. So we met with Michelle earlier in the week during one of her office hours periods and tried to work through our biggest issue, which was like how to formulate a list of all of the necessary required interpreter languages, depending on who, like if multiple people needed different languages. And we got the like code for that working. And now I'm sort of just trying to work through some issues with our like the data structure of our interview and kind of like reformatting the way we ask some things, adding in some questions, just to make it cleaner and easier to like implement in the list code in the future. So like right now, I'm kind of working through a few issues with like just asking how many parents and guardians there are, and like having the correct questions show up in sequence after that, depending on prior selections. And then once I can get all that stuff ironed out, probably in a couple more office hours meetings, I hope to implement the stuff that we worked on with Michelle earlier in the week. But that was our last like big thing, so I think we should be cruising through the last few issues after we get that worked in.
Great. And did you get your GitHub issue resolved? I saw you in the channel this morning.
I haven't. I mean, so I tried to like make some progress this morning, and I didn't. So I'm not really at a place where I want to push at the
Okay.
moment. But I I I noticed it happened to me like 2 days ago as well. So I think it might have something to do with me having accidentally pushed to the main branch instead of my own branch. And then now that I'm trying to push it to my branch, it's like getting angry at me, and it's saying there's like a merge conflict or something. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's the reason. That's just one explanation I have, but I
Okay.
so far unresolved.
All right. Well, I just wanted to make sure that if it's not resolved, go back to the channel. I wasn't telling you to figure it out and on your own if you can't get it by sending you that resource. But GitHub issues happen all the time, so let us know if it doesn't get resolved when you're ready. How about Eleni? What's going on with you?
Well, we talked yesterday, so we're going to make a new testing, not scenarios, what do we call it? Like major flows?
Yeah, we're gonna map some of the major flows.
Yeah, so we're gonna meet on Monday to do that. I also started the attribution project, so I made a document of the interviews that we have live there. I'm linked a doc to the Trello card. So if anyone wants to join in on that project, they're more than happy to do that. I mean, they can be welcome to do that. I can't talk today. But I have a doc there. I found most of the people. There's some people that I can't link to I mean, like some authors that I just can't find for some interviews, but I think that there's only 2 or 3 that I'm missing. So yeah, that's pretty much all for me.
Cool. You're turning into the grab bag queen. Thank you. Joelle, what do you have going on?
I am wrapping up with the full plain language review of the entire interview. My biggest goal is hopefully by next Tuesday when we meet, I will have updated all of my changes to GitHub because I've had spotty connection. So a lot of the plain language review and just word changing I've done on Atom on my laptop. So hopefully by next week, I will have everything updated on GitHub so that it's just one form and then I can go from there and do a more deeper dive.
Okay, cool. Caroline, do you have any stand-up-y things?
I think it's a stand-up-y thing. Just I talked to, maybe it isn't stand-up-y. Kate suggested that Kelly, who's a graduate student at Bentley, talk to me about 209A a little bit and how it evolved. Kelly, I think I put this in the 209A. Kelly has some kind of connection with Luke's dad, who does the UX stuff on the website. And somehow she's in a position to make recommendations to the court website. So I said, well, one thing you could recommend is that they link to our interview. And she said, is there anything you want to ask the court staff about? And I said, you could ask them, tell them that we did change the interview in response to their feedback. And you might just ask them if they've got any clues as to why they're not linking to us, and let them, whether you let them know or not, but we're getting ready to, publish Portuguese, Vietnamese, Spanish, and Chinese interviews. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that somebody emailed me. I think this is probably Quentin's the only person can answer this, but Aubrey, you might know. Quentin or one of Quentin's students was working on the interpreter request. It's actually called Notice of Request of Interpreter or something form.
Yeah, that was the lab class.
Right. So Gary Allen, who wrote one of the legal tactics chapters, links to a link on mass.gov, interpreter request. There is no interpreter request on mass.gov, but if we could make that, I'm not quite sure where we are in terms of making that form live, whether we want to do that, and then Gary's link in his legal tactics chapter can go there. It's not an official form, and Iris Colomagains at Language Access Coalition says it's not really the way you ask for an interpreter, but it probably couldn't hurt to have a form that you notify the court that you're asking for an interpreter. I don't know what you guys want to do about that.
I think it should be in the list that Aubrey has.
Yeah. Have you got
From what I
should
remember,
I just look that up?
off the top of my head, I thought it was live.
Oh, I didn't see it live. Okay, that would be
But
great.
I do have a
Yeah.
list, so I'll grab that and.
My recollection is it might
correct
not be
you.
live, but it might be very close.
Okay.
It's in the test. I thought it was on the testing server.
I will look
But
at
it might
my notes
be-
about it and
I
get back to you.
I don't know if Iris talked to Quentin directly or whether she talked to him through me. So I don't know what the issue is, if there is an issue about making it live or not. So maybe I should go back to Iris and double check and see what she says about it. And also talk to Gary Allen and say, what form are you talking about? Because it might be, I think Quentin said it came from GBLS. That form came from GBLS. I don't know if he just has it as part of MAID or GBLS uses it. I think Gary Allen used to be at GBLS, so it might be I just don't know. So I
My
emailed
recollection is
Gary
it was
as
something
well.
that came from Greater Boston Legal Services as something they were doing to just try to help move things along.
Yeah, yeah.
As you had
Okay.
said.
All right. So I'll go back and talk to Iris. I've already emailed Gary about it. I'll email him again and double check. Say, Iris, I know you already told me this. Can you tell me again?
Okay, cool. And I'll grab my notes and message you after stand up.
Okay.
About
Thanks,
where it
Aubrey.
is. Thank you. Bryce, do you have anything?
Nothing. Two majors. I sorry, hopped on a bit late. But I've got. I now have like two sides of the like e-filing stuff done, so I can send things, or I can send hard-coded things to Jefferson Parish, and I can send. I can get data from an interview, and I can parse that into the stuff that I can then send to Jefferson Parish. And I'm literally just at this moment trying to wire up all of those different components to do a full end-to-end thing, which I wanted to have by this time today, but I will probably end up having it by the end of the day. So that's it.
It's very exciting. Go Bryce, go. David, do you have anything?
Nothing worth reporting here, except it's the end of the fiscal year. So if you find people stressed, that's why. Well, there are probably actually a lot bigger reasons why people are stressed, but that might be one of the things that's contributing to this.
Okay. Well, with that, we've got about 15 minutes. So do you want to sneak in our demo? Kajal and Shauna, you ready to go?
Yes, I'm going to turn off my video just to make sure what happened last time doesn't happen again, but I will be sharing my screen.
Okay.
Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not perfect. Sean and I actually had to restart, but
And
tell you where the issues are that we want to work on.
can you just remind us which form you have?
Yes, so we have the complaint to establish paternity.
Great.
Okay, let me see. Okay. So this is just a little first, make sure they're on the right track. And then just a little informational, because this complaint has to be filed with other paperwork. And then
So it looks like you're getting a lot more of the pre-canned ones than last time. Is that something that you guys are working on?
yeah.
Nice. That's great.
And then this is something that we're gonna work on just because there's checkboxes and then there's sub checkboxes on the actual form. So something like this, and then you'd have to choose if you're the mother or the father, or if like if you're the guardian or custodian. So that's something we'll be working on as well. So it's more clean, and then you have to choose either one of the mother or father for the form. But yeah. And then and this is also similar to the other drop down where you have to choose the checkbox and then a sub checkbox. So we'll be doing that for this one too.
I'm muted. Sorry. Can I just, you have a question that says, are any children involved?
Right.
If you're filing a complaint to establish paternity, why would you ask that question?
Yeah, I think that automated, but that's probably something we're gonna remove.
Okay.
Yeah, just because we didn't add that when we did it, but I think maybe it just automatically did it.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Weaver
All right.
would automatically add it. If
Oh,
you
okay.
had,
All
like,
right.
Children. I don't know if it's worth it to. Do you need a separate? I don't know if it's still worth it to keep that question in, like, as in, like, but like I don't know if this form be used with multiple children. or do you have to file like a separate form for an
Uh,
additional
I think
child?
you have to check that with Kate, but we're talking about children. No, I think you probably need a separate complaint for each child. We can double check with the family lawyer, but I'm pretty sure you need one complaint per child.
Okay,
Yeah,
would it, in that case, would it make sense from like just the user's point of view to leave that question in, and then if they respond with more than one, if they respond with 0, it's like, well, you have to have a child. If they respond more than one, then we say like, hey, if you're like, you're gonna have to file a separate complaint for the next child.
Well, I don't think it makes sense to leave that question in. I think it makes sense to let them know that they need one complaint per child, and that might be just an information, but I don't think
Okay,
if you were going to ask a question, it wouldn't be, are there any children involved in a complaint
agreed.
for
Yeah,
custody?
agreed.
For
The wording should be
paternity.
a bit
Yeah.
different.
And also I think I'm hoping that it's explicit on the Mass Legal Help pages, whether you need one complaint per child. I'm pretty sure you do. You can't put more than one child on a complaint. I may be wrong about that, but I would check on Mass Legal Help first because it's the easiest place to look. And also you want to be sending people there just if they need any background information. Context.
So remember, you can hide that by looking to see what variables triggering it and then hard coding it. So you can say, yes, children are involved, and then it won't ask you.
Can I ask a question also with the birthday question? Can you file this before the child's actually born? Like while someone is still pregnant?
I answered that once upon a time. Because it asks this may be the one that asks if the child was conceived within 365 days of I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
But that's definitely something you want to, legal research you want to do.
Yeah, that might be just something to ask because then you might want to change the birthday question, how it works a little.
Okay.
Food for thought.
Other side dispute, yes. So this is something we want to move towards the beginning, so it's not like in the middle. So something will be moving.
You might want to, this might be a thing you might be able to remove, but you might want to modify the pre-kind question to not include a business. I don't think you could be filling this out with the defendant as a business.
Yeah, you're only going to have one defendant, right? You
Okay.
can't have more than one biological father. That's what paternity is about. So your answer, this would be another question you just answer.
You
There
just
is no
hard code it,
other
yeah.
defendant. Now, I think you want to go back. You're trying to establish paternity. So I don't think the mother's ever going to be a defendant.
It is one of the options. I don't know if like on the actual form.
On the form?
Because couldn't a father file to establish themselves as the father?
Yeah, but
wouldn't
I think the case might be here. The mother might be filing to establish that someone is the father.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I don't, well, maybe I'm
Well, let's
wrong
look at
about,
the-
I mean,
we can
if
look at
it's on the
the
form,
form, yeah.
I don't know. It seems a bit odd because the father could be filing, maybe the mother would be the defendant because the father's wants to establish.
Changes the previous
paternity.
answer as well. So
Yeah.
that's how legal research, those are both legal research questions.
Yeah.
And this is something we're gonna also change if the person is self-representing to kind of have that so they don't have to fill in their information twice.
So you're going to have You have an attorney in here in this complaint. Are you gonna have a pro se person fill out a complaint and then say who their attorney is? Or is this supposed to be a form that attorneys can use? Is your interview supposed to be for attorneys?
So I guess we're making it so either attorney or someone who's self-representing could fill out the form. So that's we would have the option if the plaintiff was self-representing, it would just autofill their information under the attorney information, because the option on the form is attorney or plaintiff if pro se on the actual form.
So I think what would make sense is at the beginning of the interview is ask who's filing. If you want to make it so that an attorney can use the interview, I would start at the beginning. Are you filing for yourself or for someone else? And then who are you?
Okay.
And then
You can find some.
Yeah, sorry.
You can find some examples of forms that have done that.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, this is just, you don't have to fill it out. And then there's an option for page numbers since it has to be, or since you're filing a complaint with other paperwork, but we might get rid of this.
That's something you could probably do dynamically when you know how many,
When they're filling this out.
unless you're doing affidavits. I mean, not affidavit of care, but that's something you could probably figure out if you're going to need any affidavits. If you need affidavits, then you might be. I think this thing should come at the very end if you're uploading other forms, and I think it should be calculated dynamically, not ask people.
Yeah, so they have an option right here. If the defendant's mother or father, number 3, and then towards the bottom, if the person is self-representing.
Yeah, you see the child, it only says the child in this complaint. Well, that's your version. Maybe you, if the form doesn't say child, and then usually what it does is if it can be more than one child, it says child and then /REN in parentheses or something like that.
I don't think I can hear you. I don't know if anyone else can.
Oh,
sorry.
I can hear you, Caroline.
Oh. So I think you got, I think you got a bunch of, can you hear me? Can Kajal hear me now?
Shauna, can you hear Caroline?
I can hear you.
I think you just got a list of legal questions to research. Did you change this PDF at all in any way?
No, we did not.
Okay, so you see what it says a child born out of wedlock in 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And various places where it's a child. That's a good clue that you have to file one complaint per child. You still want to look it up, but that's a pretty good clue that you don't do more than one child.
Could I ask a quick question? This is Lisa. I've been away for a while, but I wanted to reconnect because I've been getting your messages in Teams. What is the source of the form, the PDF itself?
It should be the court. Most of these forms come from the court.
So these forms are generated or were drafted by court personnel.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Because sometimes the court's own forms have things that are vague, and it's sometimes hard to fix that.
That's why we do these interviews, Lisa.
That's why we try to fix it on the back end.
They're really vague and nobody can answer the question. And so we have to break the question into multiple pieces so people know how to answer it. That's the biggest reason we're doing these.
It's hard.
So, Kajal, I don't know if you can hear us, but Caroline had a few more additions, and I think Shauna was able to hear, and it'll be on the recording for today, the comments and the questions that she proposed. So, but great job for starting over pretty much 2 days ago. Oh, did we lose Kajal? Well, Shauna.
I think she's probably just trying to reconnect so she can hear people.
Okay, yeah, she just messaged. She said I'm gonna try. But great job. It looks awesome. And you just got some great feedback. Do we have a SME for your form? Is it Kate? Until Kate goes out. What was that?
I have no idea.
You have
Is
no
Kate-
idea if you have an SME?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Do we have that indicated on any of our forms who the SME would be or could be?
Let me look at the Trello card because on some we do if we identified it early.
Yeah. It just
Um,
seems like Kate's not going to be.
Yeah, so we might need to get. Let's see.
There does not, yeah, I don't think we've like officially marked Kate as an SME based on the Trello card.
No,
Okay.
you're so fast.
Are we in touch with Kate right now at all?
I'm not, except for when she does join.
Okay,
So-
I guess one thing maybe we could do is just ask her if she wants us to try and find people to be SMEs. And I don't even think we can go to GBLS because I think there are 3 people out all at once, all in the family law.
All right. Well, that will be something that we will work on so that you guys can also
So-
continue to work on.
I could try just emailing Family Law Task Force and looking for volunteers. Do you want me to email Kate and say, do you want me to look for other SMEs? I'll email her first. I don't want to go
Okay.
asking for people. Does that make sense to do that?
That sounds good.
Okay,
what?
I'll do that.
Well, if Kate wants on, we'll keep her, but we would never.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't
I know
wanna-
she's trying to, it's hard for her to say no to anything,
Yeah.
but
So
just give her a,
we've got a plan so that she can say no. We'll
Yeah.
make sure that she's got that option. All
yeah,
right.
okay.
So Shauna and Kajal will look for me, but otherwise you've got some great action points. Good work from restarting. That was a lot of perseverance for you guys. So thank you. All right. And I think with that, there's our Friday stand up. We can cut the tape and move on to